Disclaimer, this is what I did to fix my specific issue. I don't know if it'll work for anyone else. It worked for me. First step, other than ignoring the seats, make sure your gas cap is OEM or dealership, because a lot of aftermarket ones won't do so well with sealing, and or there is a little electronic in there. So what I did with the filler neck itself, this was still kind of on there, a little bit of grease. So I sanded it with 100 grit sandpaper, then I sanded it with 400 grit. I had a paper towel in here while I was sanding. And then with this O-ring here, I made sure it was good, and then I have a little bit of O-ring sealant. I think it was like a Permatex O-ring sealant. I just put on the O-ring there, and then tighten it down to give a small resistance right here. A few clicks, and it's done. That's where the gas cap's at. This is the best shot I'm going to get of underneath with the charcoal canister. I replaced the canister, I replaced that valve that was with it. I got those parts from the dealership. I replaced all the soft lines down there from the rubber ones to the silicone, which let me show you that. In the engine bay here, I got these black silicone lines off eBay. I have no idea if this brand here still sells them, or if my camera will even focus on it. I think the inner diameter of the lines was like 8mm inner diameter. You can measure it with I don't have my micrometer on me. I wish I could measure that. Anyways, the information's out there. If you get the correct inner diameter line, then take the old lines off, the old rubber ones, and then measure these the length, and then cut them to spec. Then I have these hose clamps here, which honestly don't do the greatest job at hose clamp. Actually, no, they do an alright job with hose clamp. But new soft lines, same with the charcoal canister, new hose clamps. And this one right here didn't even have a hose clamp from factory, which I put one on there because I felt like it. But it's this specific valve, not this one, not this one. The one underneath let me show you. If your car is at a factory ride height, then you should be able to just barely make it under here with a pair of needle nose pliers. It is, can I get a zoom in on it? This valve right here. The one that comes out at the bottom there, or if you're holding the valve upward, the top of it, that will go to the air box. I can't do any pointing. And then the side of that valve goes into the pipe on the frame for the charcoal canister. I had those two hoses switched after I installed my air box a few months ago. It gave me the P0440 and P0446. With a pair of needle nose pliers, and I didn't even have to lift off my car, I just got underneath there. I was able to switch those lines, so now this one goes to the top of that valve, and then the other side goes to the air box, and now the gas cap isn't pressurized anymore because it was hard to remove the gas cap. Looking in my spare parts here, this valve is the one I'm talking about. The top of it here goes into the air box, the side of it here goes into the pipe on the frame that leads to the charcoal canister. I had those two mixed up, which is what gave me my Evap leak and my Evap codes. Also, I have like so many of these valves. I have 4 of these valves. These valves don't really break too much. If you shake it, it's a little spring actuator in there. I don't know how it works electronically. I think the pressure just pushes the platform and spring down a little bit, which sends a signal to the ECU. I think that's how it works, but I could be wrong. I don't exactly have a tool to open it up and find out. I want to. If that valve in there is somehow broken for any of you, just give it a shake to see if the spring moves up and down inside. If it doesn't, if you don't hear that spring moving, then it's probably broken, but they don't break that often. Beforehand, after switching those lines, I didn't unplug my battery, I didn't clear the codes. I probably should have unplugged the battery to let the ECU update with the fuel trims, but I let it just do that naturally. Then I did a 100-mile trip to Orlando and back, and the check engine light didn't come on at all. It was actually right when I got back into town. The check engine light came back on, I didn't care about it, and then it went away. I'm guessing that's because the gas cap, I may have just put it on wrong, I don't know. Now we're just gonna start it up. That's where we're sitting at, and then this next clip you'll see me in the Blue Driver app. Alright, media and microphone, just gonna do the check engine light. This is a screen recording now, so I can't exactly do this in horizontal. Little Samsung here. The only code, the pending code, is the Evap one there because I just did the gas cap, so I was trying to figure that out. But then the cylinder misfires I'm getting is, let me explain that in just a second. So the Evap one there was a pending code because I just messed with the gas cap and the light might come back on, but I'm currently getting 2 check engine lights. That one, the first one is for the gas cap, which if I want a permanent fix for the gas cap, I could probably buy a gas cap directly from the dealership, which I did not do last time. I bought it from an eBay seller, but it's all right. It hasn't been causing me any bad gas mileage. And then the second check engine light for the cylinder misfire, let me just undo all this real quick, is the alternator. I know the alternator works, it charges my battery, it does pretty well, but the issue is that it's a remanufactured alternator from God knows where, and I don't even know how old it is. So I have no proof other than just like theorizing. My theory is that the alternator, not being Denso and being really old, it has some slight voltage regulation issues with the AC being on the 3 or higher. That's having the AC blasting at level 3 or 4 is the only time my engine will start giving small misfires, like very slight, like maybe 1 misfire an hour or every 30 minutes or so, which causes the check engine light to come on, which is also why the check engine light came off, because I think the alternator is giving slight misfires. My bad, slight voltage regulation issues, but I do have a fix for this. My fix for the alternator is an alternator for a 2ZZ, an original part by Denso for the 2ZZ motor, which will fit in my car currently. The only difference between the two, as far as I'm aware, might be some voltage drawing. I think there's a chance the 2ZZ alternator is stronger, but I think it's just this one mounting point with this bolt. That's the only difference I know of. And yes, I could theoretically put this alternator in my car and might be able to not give me any voltage regulation issues, but this is for the 2ZZ, so I'm not gonna bother putting a new alternator in my car right now. Once again, thanks to Norcal for the PCV hose for the 2ZZ and the alternator for the 2ZZ. I hope someone found this somewhat informative. If any of you have an evap leak, someone asked me about it, so I thought I'd make a small video on how I fixed it for my car. My car, as far as I'm aware, does not have an evap leak anymore.